Hi, this is GW. I am here talking to you today. I'm glad everybody's joining me. I hope you enjoy this. I am just going to do another government thoughts, day 30. So it's been about a month, since Trump took office. There's been a lot going on. I just wanted to run down a little bit of things that have happened in the last 10 days. I'm trying to, not really trying to do this on a 10-day window, but that seems to be a frequent time that I do it. So here we go. So about 10 days ago, Trump declared himself the chairman of the board of the Kennedy Center for the Arts. And that seemed like like he didn't have something more important to worry about, so he did that. Now, I have no idea whether or not the cause and effect, but a couple of days ago, they canceled the gay men's recital. Have no idea whether there's any correlation there or not, but I find that kind of interesting. He also put a tariff on steel and aluminum on China and Canada, 25%. Now, neither one of those was really accepted easily by the other side, and they answered with some tariffs of their own. And so now you just kind of wonder, well, where is this going to stop? Now the judges a few 10 days ago were starting to put executive orders on hold, making rulings saying up, nope, not too fast. And they're continuing to do that across the board, not on every one that comes up, but on several of them. And, the fact of the matter is, you just can't give up the letter of the law and it just the rule of the law. You just can't give that up, with the American way of life. If we don't have a rule of law, we have chaos. And chaos is not a good way to manage what it is that we do as a country. Oh, my. So, it was interesting to me that about a week ago, um, uh, Governor Blagojevich used to be the governor of Illinois before he went to jail for corruption because he tried to, when Obama became president, he tried to sell the Senate seat and tried to make some political capital out of that and personal capital too, I would imagine. And but he ended up in jail and was supposed to serve quite a while. In 2020, in Trump's first term, Trump commuted his sentence, and last week he decided that he should go all the way, and he gave Blagojevich a full pardon on what he did with selling of the Senate seat. Um, Unbelievable. It was such an obvious fraud that was going on. It just really makes no sense to me as you do that. But he did it, and so that's another good thing that went down. Now, one thing that has gone on is that there were in Europe there were protests by military families against Trump, against the Trump administration when they showed up in the NATO area there. Um, Military families protesting against a sitting president is very unusual, and but it does show some of the effect that his policies are having across the nation, and so certainly worrisome as you do that. Now, you also have protests around the country. And if you look on some of the local news channels around the country, and you look on some of the um, uh, minor cable channels, you will see coverage of these protests that are happening. I mean, really pretty large protests in the major cities around the country. But interestingly, very little coverage on any of the main news sources, and so I find that interesting, scary, very scary, but interesting. Um, so we have appointments that were made, ones that were up in the air, they were very controversial. RFK Jr. Was appointed to the Health and Human Services, and I believe that I think that that's a pretty unnerving activity. Now I've talked to folks who say that, oh no, if you really look at his record, he's going to do it by the science. And if he does do it by the science, then that's good. But not sure based on his track record that that's what he's going to do. So we shall see, though. And Gabbard was appointed as the director of national intelligence. Mitch McConnell was the Republican voting no on that. I find Mitch McConnell, popping up voting no on some of these things be an interesting thing. He certainly missed a chance with impeaching Trump a few years ago that could have really processed that out. But that having McConnell be the representative that votes no, I know he's trying to do the right thing, and I applaud him for that. But gosh, a little bit too little, too late, I think, on some of these things. Now, across the country, in the federal government, the date of that you could sign up to resign and get money for a period of time, that date's now gone, and I think about 75,000 people signed up to take that buyout, and they are probably all feeling pretty smart about it right now because the actual firings are beginning now. There's certain rules that have to be followed. I don't even know why I said that with a straight face, but theoretically there are hiring and firing rules that have to be followed. You have seniority processes, bumping capability within the federal government. If a person, for instance, if a person's GS-13 job goes away, he can go bump somebody out of a GS-12 job. That's same general job description. Those bumping rights, haven't even begun to be talked about. But the probationary workers, pretty much across the board. I mean, I don't know what agency they haven't touched with that, but if you were hired in the last year, you were on probation. And when you're on probation, I think we all know that probationary workers can be basically fired at will. And so they're all back out the door, and there is some real hardships that are being felt, and areas that have a density of federal workers, are really going to have an interesting time here for the next couple of years while they try to sort that out. Certainly the Northern Virginia area, the areas around any military base, there's pockets, that Indianapolis, for instance, with the work that goes on in the Indianapolis area, there's pockets of areas where you have a density of federal workers that it's going to really affect the local economies as you do that. That's going to be really, really hard. Now, then you have the impact of the people that have been put into positions that they may or may not have been well qualified to do. The Secretary of Defense, for instance, going to Europe and basically giving away just giving away negotiation points, just sitting there and blatantly saying, well, we all know it's going to end up at X, Y, and Z. And, the fact of the matter is it wasn't going to end up at X, Y, and Z until you went through A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. And, so just cutting the knees off of any type of negotiation that goes on. And then of course, they have the Ukrainian thing now that I read this morning, that Ukraine and the U.S. are starting talks, and I'm sorry, Russia and the U.S. are starting talks on what to do about the war in Ukraine, and the Ukraine representation is not there. And so that's interesting. I mean, how do you do that? I just don't understand what it is that they're going on. Um, I think when you take a look at different things that are there, I think no question the USAID organization at risk. I think the Department of Education is at risk of being, basically gutted. They are taking away any type of diversity, DEI type activity, appear to be rolling back any type of efforts on civil rights, that has gone on for the last 50, 60, 70 years. Laws, that are being done. The Southern District of New York has certainly had its own share of activity going on with Danielle Sassoon and the other prosecutors who have resigned in protest of some of the activities that are going on. With the Mayor Adams and other activities, being told to do things that they don't feel is right. You have Vance, showing up at a NATO speaking thing and just basically not conducting himself in a manner. I mean, there as a junior, not the president. He's the vice president. He's in a position that he needs to build up and solidify the relationship that we have with our NATO allies, and instead he sits there and preaches to them about democracy and basically insults them. And go figure, it didn't go well. Wasn't received well. I mean, I think he thinks he did a good job, but it was not received well. And the trust and faith that other countries have with the U.S. being a dependable partner to them is being deeply eroded, and basically the world order is undergoing a very rapid change as we do that. Um, Bottom line is that after 30 days, you can talk about conceptually of ripping off the Band-Aid and just you gotta make things bad to make them good. You gotta work hard. You gotta it's just unbelievable to me where we are at this particular point. How we are going to recover from this, I don't know. It is just going to be an interesting time as we go through this. I don't think I don't think we've completely lost the country yet, but I do think that we are in a period of. I don't think this country in the last 250, 60 years that we have been in existence, I don't think that we have had a crisis of identity anything close to this, and that includes the Civil War, and um, uh, and so I think that we just need to, buckle up, guys. It's going to be a bumpy road, and I'm gonna continue to put these out. Now, I didn't try to give my strong opinions on any of this stuff. I just tried to basically these were the kind of the news headlines over the last 10 days, and certainly not a real positive one. So anyway, y'all listen to this, pass it around, do whatever it is you want to do with it. But hope you all, hope you all have a good week, and stay safe and stay warm. And we will talk to you again in a few days. Thanks a lot.